The sky darkens. The sky split open at 3:17 Universal Time Coordinated. They didn't announce themselves with diplomacy or threats, just silence, followed by the distant hum of gravity engines. Over every major continent, massive shadow-casting vessels emerge from the upper atmosphere. Gleaming metallic colossi, hundreds of kilometers long, lowered into Earth's skies like titanic leeches. Humanity had no time to respond. Within hours, oceans were being siphoned into floating harvesters. Mountains crumbled under directed seismic drills. Forests turned to ash as atmospheric scrapers sucked oxygen and vented exhaust in return. What the invaders didn't destroy, they consumed. They were the Zaurati. No message, no contact, only a cold broadcast transmitted in every language. This planet is unclaimed. Extraction is authorized. Do not interfere. Military units mobilized across the globe. Fighter jets scrambled, missiles launched, EMPs detonated. Nothing worked. Our best weapons failed against their shielding. Nuclear options were jammed before launch codes could even be confirmed. The Zaurati weren't waging war. They were harvesting. At Joint Operations Command in Cascadia Base, Major Maya Quinn watched the holographic map light up with loss after loss. New Delhi blacked out. The East Coast gone dark. Satellites dropped offline like flies. What do they want? A young analyst whispered. Maya didn't answer. She was staring at the western feeds. Mount Rainier was imploding, a drilling claw punching through the volcano like soft clay. Lava poured into Zaurati collection ducts. They want the whole damn planet, Maya muttered. When an orbital harvester passed overhead, the base trembled. The lights flickered. Seconds later, the compound's shield domes failed. A beam of blue heat sliced through the north wing like paper. Screams followed. Maya grabbed her rifle, not because it would help, but because it was habit. Her unit, 3rd Global Infantry, had been preparing for cyber warfare, not an alien apocalypse. Now, half her command was dead, the other half scattering into the mountains. She found a secure room, slammed the blast door shut, and transmitted a final encrypted burst to the resistance networks that had sprung up in the chaos. Command has fallen. We are no longer defending. We are surviving. Spread out, dig in, and bleed them. If Earth is lost, make it cost them everything. Her hand trembled as she typed. A second Zaurati platform hovered nearby. It descended like a god, planting itself into the earth, sprouting metallic roots and beginning to drain groundwater into its belly. Maya looked out through the cracked blast window. This wasn't war. It was farming. We were just in the way. But they had made one mistake. They thought humans were going to kneel. Maya gritted her teeth, slung the rifle over her back, and stepped into the smoke of the ruined hallway. If they wanted resources, they'd get resistance. The sparks ignite. The cities fell, but the people didn't. Across the planet, civilization collapsed in days. Governments either went silent or surrendered, hoping cooperation might save them. It didn't. The Zaurati weren't negotiating. They were extracting. They didn't care about treaties or flags. Every resource-rich zone became a dead zone. But in the ashes, fire still burned. In the Cascadian woods, Major Maya Quinn and the handful of soldiers who survived the initial assault formed Cell Echo, a mobile resistance unit equipped with salvage comm gear, stolen food rations, and the sheer will to keep fighting. They weren't the only ones. Similar groups were springing up across the globe. Isolated at first, then connected, then organized. Cell Echo's first victory came in Week 2. A Zaurati terraformer was operating near Spokane, draining a mountain lake and releasing thick chemical fog into the surrounding air. Maya led her unit into the dead zone under nightfall. No drones, no guards, just a towering alien structure slowly tearing through the land like it had every right. They didn't have heavy weapons, but they had explosives, thermal charges, and pure desperation. They set charges at weak points around the base and evacuated to a ridge. At 3:41 local time, the detonation cracked the sky. The structure collapsed in on itself, flames licking the stars. The Zaurati responded in minutes, but Echo had already vanished. For the first time, the aliens acknowledged them. A new broadcast swept the remnants of Earth's networks. Interference will result in cleansing protocols. Non-compliance is not permitted. Maya grinned when she heard it. Good. That meant they were afraid. Reports flooded in, resistance groups hacking into drone networks in Seoul. Indigenous hunters using guerrilla tactics in the Amazon. In Kenya, a sniper cell had destroyed a Zaorati control pylon using a modified railgun cobbled together from a mining rig. In Pakistan, an engineer named Dr. Nidar Karim cracked a Zaorati power relay algorithm and shared it over an encrypted line. It allowed human cells to disrupt harvester fields temporarily, enough to delay them, enough to hurt them. Maya received the code and tried it herself. When Cell Echo disabled a tritonium extractor in Oregon, it caused a catastrophic overload. The explosion knocked out half the Zaorati's local operations. The clouds turned black with smoke. The enemy retreated from the zone entirely. It wasn't much, but it was hope. Back in their forest hideout, Maya watched the static-filled screen of a makeshift command board. Dots represented resistance cells. There were hundreds now, some barely armed, some untrained, but all of them burning with the same fury. She keyed the MIC and transmitted the message she knew would echo across the broken world. They came for our planet. They called us irrelevant. Well, this is your irrelevant species, Zaorati, bleeding you dry. You want our resources. Come and take them. Somewhere, out there, others heard her, and they started fighting harder. The Earth fights back. They tried to crush us. The Zaorati retaliated with cleansing protocols, area-wide incineration beams, orbital kinetic strikes, and poison aerosols dropped over entire regions. Cities vanished. Rivers boiled. Millions died. But instead of breaking our spirit, it forged something stronger. Unity. By now, Cell Echo wasn't just one of many. It was Central Command. Maya had turned a cluster of ragtag fighters into a global resistance network. Through stolen alien comm relays, jury-rigged satellite scramblers, and old-school radio, humans across continents began coordinating attacks, sharing data, and building something that had never existed before, a planetary defense made of the people. Every nation, every language, every belief, none of it mattered anymore. Only survival did. Dr. Nidar Karim joined Maya in person, bringing a portable interface capable of intercepting alien fleet telemetry. With her help, they tracked a new target, the Zaorati's primary planetary command spire, located in the Himalayas, buried beneath what was once Nepal. Maya called for every active resistance cell in Asia to converge. From the jungles of Thailand came guerrilla fighters hardened by decades of conflict. From the tundras of Siberia, sharpshooters who could hit moving drones in a snowstorm. From underground bunkers in Delhi, cyber hackers with homemade pulse emitters. They brought what they had. None of it was enough alone. But together, it was hell. The assault began at dawn. Human teams swarmed the mountainside, dodging plasma fire and drone swarms. Explosives laced with shrapnel and EMP rounds lit the sky. Maya herself led the charge through the lowest tier of the spire, fighting hand-to-hand against Zaorati biomech suits. One of them impaled her shoulder, but she ripped it out and kept moving. Nidar reached the uplink core first. Her fingers flew across the alien interface. With one command, she broadcast Earth's resistance footage straight into the Zaorati's own network, across their fleet, across their outposts, and, most importantly, across their homeworld. Billions of Zaorati saw it. A human civilians dragging injured friends through rubble and still firing back. A children painting resistance symbols on bunker walls. A soldiers laughing through soot-covered faces as they detonated enemy extractors. And over it all, Maya's voice echoed. We were nothing to you. Just a target. Just a mine. But now you know who we are. We're the storm under your feet. We are Earth, and we will not go quietly. Back on the Zaorati flagship, something cracked. Their commanders hesitated. Some fleets began pulling back. Their efficiency models no longer justified continued extraction. Maya collapsed from blood loss as the command spire exploded behind her. Nidar dragged her out as reinforcements arrived. Above them, the alien ships began retreating from the Himalayas. It wasn't a full victory, but for the first time, Earth wasn't just surviving. It was winning. The price of defiance. Victory had a scent, smoke, sweat, and scorched ozone. But Earth was far from safe. Though many Zalrati fleets retreated from the major continents, a final command structure remained in orbit, the core siphon, a vast ring-like superstructure positioned over the South Pole. It was the crown jewel of the extraction campaign, designed to drill into Earth's mantle and pull out raw tritonium, the rare isotope the Zalrati had crossed light years to acquire. And if they took it, Earth would die. The planet would fracture, oceans would boil, tectonic plates would collapse. The Zalrati didn't care. In their cold calculus, the extraction yield still outweighed planetary destruction. Major Maya Quinn, wounded and running on painkillers, called for one last mission. Then we make sure they never get what they came for, she said through gritted teeth. With the combined strength of Cell Echo and what remained of global resistance, a plan was formed. Infiltrate the siphon through its polar access shaft, sabotage its core fusion relays, and trigger a cascading failure that would disable the entire extraction fleet. It was suicide. Everyone knew it, but no one backed down. Adropes carried the team into the Antarctic wasteland under cover of an electromagnetic storm. Blizzards howled. Drones scanned the ice. The team crawled through underground glacial tunnels and breached the siphon's underbelly through its waste ducts. Inside was a cathedral of alien engineering, humming machines, glowing veins of energy, conduits pumping molten rock into orbit. But none of it mattered. The team planted the charges. Nidar hacked the mainframe. Maya held off Zalrati sentinels with a scavenged plasma cannon until the heat from the barrel burned through her gloves. When the core began to overload, an alarm echoed through the siphon in a shrill, mechanical language. They'd succeeded. One by one, humans fell back toward the exit, except Maya. Her injuries were too severe. She slumped near the control terminal, blood soaking the snow beneath her boots. She radioed her team. "If I don't make it out, tell Earth I'd do it again." The last thing she saw was the siphon collapsing in on itself, light swallowing metal, fire swallowing light. Above Earth, Zalrati ships blinked out of orbit. Some exploded, others powered down. The extraction fleet was gone. The invasion was over. Months passed. The Earth was awound. Cities lay in ruins. Billions were dead. Ecosystems forever changed. But humanity endured. Survivors rebuilt with scorched hands and stubborn hearts. Children grew up hearing the stories of resistance. The doctor who jammed alien tech with a car battery, the sniper who blinded a ship with a mirror, and the woman who lit the sky with her final breath. At a stone marker in the Cascades, they carved the words Maya once whispered into the resistance net. They came for resources. All they found was resistance.